What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about this beautiful thing right here, Angel. And my oh my, what a gorgeous character model. I mean, you could look at this thing all day. She is so beautiful. They did such a great job on her. I mean, look at her face, guys. The detail in her face looks absolutely amazing. Mwah! Wonderful job, Nat Marvel. You knocked it out of the park aesthetically once again with these characters. So let's talk about Angel and why she is a really great character, guys, for you to pick up. The first thing about her is that she is a green balance. This is very important because our green teams in this game don't have any dot explosion, right? There's only one other character that has dot explosion that is a green, and that is Ino. And if you weren't playing during the Guilty Gear collaboration, you're not going to have this character. She has 5.5 times explosion, and there were some people that mentioned in a video that I did a while back that Nameless also has explosion, but Nameless only has it on his default. The guy only has it on his default, and it's only 3.2 times, guys. It's actually crap. For RHD, it's just crap, right? You want explosion either in their core or on their skills, and you definitely want that big 5.5 times or even 5 times or even 4.5 times, because that's going to do enough damage to where you can bypass a lot of the CP requirements in certain game modes, especially like reviving Hell's Dungeon. And that's something that Angel can do, guys. Being a green and having the big 5.5 times explosion makes her extremely valuable. Also, her leadership that increases the EX fighter's attack by 40% and critical damage by 60%. This is massive, especially for a character like herself, and even Keel, guys, because we know Keel that really crits a tremendous amount, and her having the 30% PG rate, the increased damage by 18% on critical hit is massive. So when you give this girl a lot of critical rate, she's going to do a lot more critical hits. She's going to hit a lot harder, a lot more often. She's got the 4% critical rate natively in her kit to 20% attack is really nice. And then the fact that she can reflect stuns. So anytime you're facing opponents that have a stun, say like Luke, Shizuru, she can reflect it, which is actually pretty nice, guys. She's also immune to poison, which can be useful against certain bosses or certain opponents. And then whenever she activates Finish Rolling when attacking targets that can be grabbed for 1 second, inflicts bleed damage equal to 550% of attack every 0.15 seconds. A similar passive to what Mary has with her shock, which is very, very powerful, really adds a lot to her damage. And then she can cast a shield that absorbs damage for 7 seconds when using an active skill and removes the shield when attacked 30 times. Now, this is really important. The fact that she's got to get hit 30 times before the shield is removed is really nice because, you know, back in the day, well, really not that long ago, it was only 20 times. EX Chun-Li actually first introduced this 30 times, and now, you know, it's obviously Angel can do it as well. But hers is used whenever she uses her skill. So whether you use the first, second, or third skill, you're going to proc this shield. It's going to last for 7 seconds. It's going to be on a 12-second cooldown. So every other 5 seconds, you can actually put up this shield. It's actually quite nice. And this is awesome, guys. Increase critical rate by 15% for 3 seconds upon landing an attack. This is nutty. So again, you know, the fact that she has the native 4% critical rate and the increased damage by 18% on a critical hit is really nice and synergizes really well with this extra 15% bump. This is crazy, and this resets upon landing a critical hit, and there's no cooldown on this thing, so she's going to get this up all the time, especially if you have a set that has a lot of critical rate. She inflicts a symbol for 7 seconds upon landing a critical hit on a target, and when that little symbol shows up above the opponent's head, it increases poison explosion by 200%. So whenever you're doing poison explosion from her damage goes up by 200%, which is just nutty whenever she's doing explosion upon attacking target with that symbol. And increases damage of burn and shock dealt to the target with the symbol by 70%. So this symbol actually lasts for 7 seconds. So if you use her right and you see the symbol show up and then you switch her to someone like, say, Kyo, Ryu, like these characters that burn and shock explosion, their damage is going to go up as well. So in her kit, even at just, you know, level 90, guys, she's going to have this and actually offer a nice little support buff for those types of characters. So in that respect, it does make her worthwhile just to get to level 90, just to get her once, right? And that's it. And the thing about this girl is, you know, her first skill is a strike skill, and it petrifies all enemies for 3 seconds. This is insane for PvP, because if they're not immune to petrify, she just petrifies them no matter where they are in the screen, and then she can actually get a hold of them and start beating the hell out of them. And she does so much damage with her explosion that she can pretty much mutilate them. Now, the thing about this is, when you hit the petrify, you only tap the first skill 1 time. If you tap it twice, you won't get the Petrify. So you would petrify your opponent, and then you could hit him with other skills. You could apply some poison damage from the second skill. You could do some grabs with the second or third skill, but you're not going to do the explosion right away. And then her second and third skill are both grab skills, and the second skill does apply venom for 10 seconds, which is awesome, guys. And the thing about the way her kit is set up, and I talked about this before, is because her explosion is actually on her skills, you can dictate whenever you can apply the poison from her. This 10-second poison, you can dictate whenever you're applying that. So whenever you're facing Omega Rugal, where you actually need poison to break the meter, you can actually still use her for that, even though she does have explosion and it removes the poison. And her first skill can actually reset the second skill. So you can actually go, 3, hit the hyper armor, the second skill, apply the poison, hit the first skill, do the explosion, and then do the second skill again, because it'll probably reset because you had 50% chance from the first skill to reset it, hit the second skill again, and then boom, you got the poison up again. And this also has increased target damage received for 40% by 6 seconds. Again, guys, this is nice. Another little nice passive that can be used. And then the PvP exclusive, disable all enemies' active skills for 3 seconds upon use. So again, she has another skill that affects all enemies on the screen, which is just nutty, guys. 2 different skills that do that. One that can offer Petrify, and the other can just disable their freaking skills. And since she has grabs, if you're a really good player, good at catching, you can grab a hold of them and mutilate them. She's very, very fast. And then she has the hyper armor skill that is an eruptive skill that's limited to standing and airborne. And then the PvP exclusive, she has a 7% chance to remove the target's hyper armor or critical hit shield upon landing a hit. So anytime, you're facing opponents with the critical hit shield like Ashe, Akuma, Ryu, she can actually remove that thing, which is pretty nutty. And then her 3PG, or her default, actually has an increased target damage received by 15%, which is awesome. And her striker bonus is really, really good. Now, that's another reason, by the way, that having her even at level 90 would be a good deal for against Omega Rugal, although there are free-to-play characters in the game like Zhong Fei that do have a 10-second poison that applies to all enemies, but still it's a really, really good striker effect. Now for imprint stones, I really think just using the imprint stones that they give you for the character through the game and the codex is actually the best way to go. The first stone actually increases poison damage. I mean, obviously she's got poison explosion. That is nutty for her. And then the second skill, or the second stone, increases grab skill. Again, nutty for her. And then the third stone actually increases the active skill damage by 20%. And her first skill does the explosion. So it's a really good stone for her. This is honestly a really amazing stone for Kyo as well, because if you have him at A5 and you are, resetting the first skill over and over from his concentrate, from his core, then this thing's going to do a lot more damage. I mean, I'm really curious about it, but I don't have A5 Kyo, so yeah, maybe some of you out there that might have A5 Kyo and you have this stone, you slap on them, let me know if it does increase his damage, because I think it probably would. Now, as far as their cores, I only had 35 points available, guys, because she was at level 30. I believe it's 35 points. And so what I opt to do, and I don't even think this is right, but what I opt to do is I actually decide to level up the first skill all the way up. This is skill with their explosion. The second skill all the way up. This is skill with their poison. And then the third skill just has a hyper armor. It doesn't have any attack buffs or anything like that, but it is a grab skill. So, I mean, there is an argument that maybe you should level up these two, but you wouldn't be leveling up the explosion. And I think that would be really the best way to go. Then I just used all my points on these, and then I used the just level up the attack as much as I could all the way up to level 16. Now, I've actually tried rotations with Angel where I just prioritize the first and second skill over and over and over and over. And even with a decreased skill cooldown striker, it just seemed like I was waiting and pausing just a little bit, and not pausing, but just having moments of time where I was waiting, because her cooldowns on her skills need to be a little bit shorter. And she doesn't have a CDR core, which is a cooldown reduction core, where whenever you apply a certain dot, your cooldowns are reduced whenever you're using your active skills, like say Leona, she has that, which is actually really nice. Ignatz, Dizzy, those kinds of characters. So because she doesn't have that, I actually just ended up trying rotations where I just would, you'd be using all 3 of her skills, and I seemed to do a little bit more damage. It wasn't by much, but it's, so far from the testing I've done, it seemed like I was doing a little bit more damage. Obviously, guys, if you're doing for CP, you want to level up all these, but when you're trying to increase her damage, you really want to go this route right here. Now, for her car set, I'm actually using the successor set. Is it the best set? I don't really know, but because she has 4% critical rate in her kit, because she gets the extra critical rate by 15% from her core, this is a really great set because one, it's a good CP set, but it also increases critical rate by 7%. So whenever she gets that 15% critical rate from her core, this is going to go up to 22%, right? And then she got 4% critical rate natively. So 26% critical rate. And then I have these two critical rates option cards. And I know a lot of you probably don't have this. You could easily just put some regular cooldown cards. But these cards here give an extra 1.7% critical rate. We were actually able to get these during the Gintama collaboration. I don't know if it's the best set, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I mean, maybe the set that you get from the banner would be better, but I really wonder about it because, I mean, this is increased EX Fighter active skill damage by 25%, and then, increase attack by 20% for 5 seconds. It's a good set, it's a decent set, but if this was like increased to grab skills, I would probably think a little bit different about it, but it isn't, right? In the Rush Dungeon set, I actually would wonder about the Rush Dungeon set as to whether or not is it the best for Angel. Wow, I didn't mean to click on that twice. Is it the best for her? Because this actually increases kitty fighters, which Angel is, poison damage by 75%. This is actually going to increase her explosion. So I actually wonder if this set is better because we don't, right, currently in the game right now, we don't have any sets that actually increase poison damage. So I might do a test in the future to see if this set is actually better than the successor set. But we're going to go with the successor set because, one, we're going to be using her leadership to increase that critical damage by 60%. And if you guys look at her stat details, look at this. Like her critical rate right now is at 22%. When she gets that 15% from her core, this is going to go up to 37%, right? And then with her leadership, the extra 60% critical damage, she's always going to have 280% critical damage. Now, something that I want to touch on with her in her core is her body and soul. This is actually quite nuts because it resets tech cooldowns and increases Altimeter's critical damage by 50% for 15 seconds. So with her leadership, right, the 40% increase to EX fighters, the 60% critical damage, this is godly. She's actually going to be giving an extra 110% critical damage. And Kyo, guys, if you have him at A5, or even if you have Akuma at A5, we know that both of those characters benefit from having like the extra critical rate. They crit quite a bit, especially if you have their concentration unlocked, and they have to be A5 in order to do that. This could be an insane passive. And not only that, but because we know that if you have two characters with weekend, which increases all target damage received, they don't stack on top of each other. However, with this kind of effect, you could have one character that increases all target damage received, and then you could use Angel and use her support as well, and they will stack, right? You will get this extra critical damage by 50%, and you will get the increased all target damage received all at the same time. It's actually quite nutty as far as the support. So her relevance is actually going to be very, very good for a long time just because of that. But her relevance is also very, very good because she can do some cheeky stuff in RHD. Now, I've made videos about this in the past where certain characters can do some wild stuff. So we need purple characters, right? But we're not going to use purple characters now. Well, we'll use Akuma, but it doesn't matter because two of our characters are not purple. And what's going to happen is we're going to get reflected. Well, because Angel has a shield, because he has explosion, and because her poison applies to everyone on the screen, you can actually do some cheeky stuff. Now, I'll probably end up dying, guys, because, again, her shield has to get hit 30 times. So if she gets reflected 30 times, like we do 30 hits, and she gets reflected 30 times, then she's going to lose that shield, and she will die. Now, if you get hit 30 times, if you get reflected 30 times, you will lose your shield. But I want you guys to watch this. I'm just going to do it for a little bit. I'll probably end up dying, but I'm just going to show you a little preview of what she's capable of doing. So we're going to hit our hyper armor. We're going to hit that poison, and boom, look at that. Dead. Dead, guys. They are freaking dead. Which is just insane. Okay, so now I'm going to try to watch out. Whoa, 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 whoa. And boom, look at that. She just murders her butt. And the other thing, guys, is like whenever she has the, whenever that symbol's above their heads, she's going to give the characters with burn even more damage. Boom, dead. Look at that. And the petrify helps as well. Okay, whoa, whoa. Okay. Okay, come on. And boom. Dead. I lost Ryu, but you guys get the idea, right? You can just sit here and come in here and do this cheekiness with Angel. This is a big reason why she's going to be so good. And on your green team, like if they're all green characters, you don't have to worry about getting reflected. And she just does so much damage. She'll just burn through them and mutilate them, guys. Like even at tier 70, guys, this was a reason that I even wanted her on my veteran account because I can actually push through here. When I go to this green stage, she is going to help me so much get through it. And not to mention that she's an EX character. She can go to A7 now. I don't put as much stock into that because it's very expensive to take a character to A7 or to get him to A5 because you actually need 7 memories. But it just shows you her potential. She's just so good. So let me show you guys what she can do in Guild Raid. All right? With the build that I have right now. And again, maybe if I had the Rush Dungeon set, maybe I would do more damage because her poison explosion would go up. So let me change my team though, because this is definitely not the team that we want to use here. Let me see. There we go. And we'll break out baby girl Leona here. Now, we're not going to be using Leona's weekend because she doesn't have her change-up kit unlocked. We're saving that for another video. And we're going to be using Leona 12 as a striker because she did decrease the skill cooldown by 1 second for Angel. Watch also how fast Angel builds up her PG. This is crazy. She'll have her 3 PG probably ready in the first rotation. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I got to focus a little bit now because I don't want to die. A problem that Angel does have is she doesn't have much survivability. The only form of survivability she has is her shield. She doesn't have an immunity core, and that's kind of a thing that, like, kind of hurts her right there. And now we're actually getting increased target damage received, which is really awesome. And here's what I like. Her 3 PG will grab a hold of the guild raid no matter what. No matter if they're stunned, if they're not stunned, she will grab a hold of them and go into that thing, which is awesome. The other thing that's nice, if you guys notice, is after she finishes her 3 PG, she does a knockdown, which means that Geese is face planted on the ground. Which means it takes them a little bit longer to get back up, and you can actually run into your skills and break the meter a little bit faster, which is nice. Come on now. Like I said, guys, I tried doing just like a 2-1, and it just seems like I was doing, you know, just as much damage by going 3-2-1. I just tried to make sure I always apply poison and then do the explosion afterwards. See how, like, whenever Geese was on the ground, he's face planted on the ground, it takes him a little time to get up, and you can go into your skills right away. Now, he'll probably go into an iframe right here. I'm going to try to see what happens here and be careful. There we go, boom. Now, I could apply poison with that second skill afterwards, maybe get a little bit more damage while we're doing our default. That might be a mistake that I'm making in this run, to be perfectly honest. I haven't got to play with her a whole lot, but I think I could actually squeeze out a little bit more damage. See that? See how he's like when he's getting up? Yeah, I mean, I really think that that's just something kind of new that she's bringing to the table. It ensures that you can always go into your skills afterwards. Now he's probably going to go into a knife. The thing that I don't like about Angel's gameplay is that I had to tap the first skill twice in order to get the explosion. It's kind of annoying, to be perfectly honest. I really wish the explosion happened just one tap, but I mean, that's just a small nitpick. I mean, the character's absolutely insane, and seriously, you gotta love her 3PG. I mean, right? I mean, they did censor it a little bit, but it's still very respectful of the original Super from KOF 15. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh yeah, and man, her default, man, that's a pretty damn long skill. Really helps for stalling that timer to try to increase your damage. Let's go, let's go. Oh yeah, and she's super fun to play, by the way, guys. She's really, really awesome, really fun, and a major threat in PvP. Okay. Let's go. Again, this might not be the optimal rotation, guys. I mean, there might be like I said, I tried going 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. I do seem to get a little bit more damage by just going 3-2-1. A little bit, not by much. Let's go. A popular thing that we all say in the gaming world. And again, I really should get in the habit of applying poison before I go into this default. I seriously think that I could squeeze out a little bit more damage if I did. But it's all good, it's all good. You just gotta love the way she slaps him around and then gives him a little love after she slaps him. Pretty interesting that she does that. It's pretty funny, actually. I mean, Angel is quite the taunter. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I don't know if we're going to hit 4 billion, maybe. She also does have max capsules on her. But I just love how she does that knockdown. Oh no, I messed up, guys. I messed up. I messed up. I went straight into that skill. Oh my god. I totally messed up right there. I went into my 3PG right when Geese was going into an iframe, and that kind of screwed me a little bit. Not too bad though. I mean, we still made it work. We still made it work. Luckily, after this, we know that he won't go into an iframe. And that's why you should always pay attention to what he's doing. Otherwise, that kind of happens. You don't want darkness on the ground, especially with Angel, since she doesn't have an immunity core. So, I mean, we were able to get 3.8 billion, right? Now, when I tried this with Keel, with his 3 stones that came with him, I was actually able to get a little bit more. Now, keep in mind, though, I was using his leadership that increases EX fighters by, I think it's like 60%, something like that. Right, and I was using the successor set, but again, I think the Rush Dungeon set's probably going to do, I mean, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I haven't tested it yet. I don't have the Rush Dungeon set. It might do more damage than the successor set. We might be able to get more damage because our explosion's actually going to go up. But all in all, guys, like, even if she isn't the strongest character, right, which doesn't really matter in Kofas, to be perfectly honest with you guys, because, I mean, really the content's pretty easy for most characters, she's still going to be an insane support because of her EX core, because of the core effect that she has where she increases burn and shock. She's still going to be an insane support, still a really great leadership for EX fighters to increase their critical damage, to increase their attack by 40%. So really, no matter what, whether she's the strongest or not, this is an insane character to pick up, especially if you're trying to push RHD. I cannot stress that enough because that's where you actually can farm experience balls to level up these characters. So guys, let me know what you think about Angel, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.